How to perform a hook serve in table tennis. Tutorial by coach EmRatThich. Hi, how are you today? I'm EmRatThich. The hook serve is very effective. Mima ITO does the hook serve very well. The hook serve is a deceptive weapon, especially when you want to send a long ball to the opponent's baseline. Here's how to do it effectively. 1. Understand the difference from side spin. Unlike a normal side spin serve where the contact motion is sideways, the hook serve focuses on a downward and forward action. Your wrist motion is limited, so the power mainly comes from the body's weight transfer and gravity. 2. Direction of force. In the hook serve, your force should go forward and slightly downward. Imagine your chest is aiming at the ground at the moment of contact. That downward press helps generate the arc and length. 3. Use the body, not the wrist. You don't rely on the wrist or arm too much. Instead, transfer your weight downward and forward. Push with your center of gravity. This gives the ball enough arc to bounce once near your baseline and land deep on the opponent's side.
The threshold for learning the hooking serve is much lower than for the reverse pendulum. Because the hooking serve is simple, there are many variations, including this kind of scooping style, or the standard style, or brushing the bottom of the ball. Actually, all three are usable, but Zhang Jike least recommends the last one. With the hooking serve, the key point is, if you hook with a high arc and strong topspin, you have to understand, it's still a long ball in the end. For example, in our past training, we've practiced specifically for the fourth ball. So we're not afraid of this kind of ball. If your fourth ball doesn't float, as long as it comes out, I can loop it. So think about it. If your opponent also understands the fourth ball, won't aggressively attack your serve or your hook, they'll slow it down and loop, and you'll end up in a passive position. There's actually a professional standard for hooking serves. What is it? We must first learn to hook short. What's the hardest part of hooking short? Hooking short with topspin is the hardest. Next, I'll teach you how to generate enough spin and still keep the ball short. So, what's the trick when learning the hooking serve at first? First, try to find that hooking, brushing sensation. Why do many of you, when trying to serve or after tossing the ball, don't know where the contact point is? You can't find a good brushing feeling or optimal contact point. First, it's unstable. Second, there's not enough spin. And third, it easily goes wrong. So here's a simple auxiliary drill. Keep the wrist relaxed for the hooking motion very simple. When you move your thumb upward and to the upper left, your wrist naturally drops into position from the front, an inward bent wrist posture. At this point, through a coordinated drill, watch. Yes, see, there's no unnecessary movement. You can clearly and precisely feel the moment of friction. So this is what it feels like to brush the ball with a bent wrist. Auxiliary drills are not matches. It's very clear, even with topspin serves. See? Tilt the racket angle more upright. This way, I can clearly and thoroughly feel the solid contact. A full stop on the rubber feeling. Same with auxiliary drills. All serves should be about net height, just a bit higher than the net when you contact the ball. Second point. There are more stages to it, but I must explain it all clearly for you. First point is, see, I can toss the ball higher. That gives me time to fully separate my motion and distance. Watch. So what's happening here? Let me show you. First, when I toss the ball, after the high toss, same principle applies to side spin serves. I open up my left chest. Open the whole body fully. After tossing and opening up, see, look, the center of gravity starts on the left leg, right? Then I shift it down to the right leg after the toss. But that's still not enough. Once it's on the right leg, with power stored, then it's like pulling about to shoot an arrow. While rotating the waist, we stretch the chest muscles as well. Fully feel all these muscle groups. The first key is using the weight shift thoroughly. Then, add explosive power from the waist. Waist power plus chest. Open up to create that striking distance. And then what comes last? Look here. Open up the left chest. Then press the leg and rotate the waist. Then pull the right chest at the end. The simplest part is the final recovery. All the contact points are kept right here, at the same height as the neck. You can clearly feel. You can clearly feel the purest and cleanest brushing through feeling on the blade. Watch. This is also the second auxiliary drill. You can make it big. So after completing this whole movement, we slowly, let's say, first do it big. Then we move to medium-sized. At this point, you basically have the feeling. The power feeling like pressing the leg and rotating the waist. Pulling the chest, lowering the center of gravity once you've got that. It's about what you can't see. At the beginning, when we use power professionally, you think it looks good. But actually, they're just simplifying the complete movement, making it smaller and more efficient, finding the optimal power transfer point, combining with that feeling of unified force. Then we do a hook serve again. Once we minimize the hook serve, the most important part is what? The direction of power in the hook serve. Many students, when serving with a hook, have this issue. The ball goes long. Why does it go long? Even with light force, it still goes long, because after hooking, you push forward, so it tends to go long. Let's think again about the defensive theory we talked about. We cancel the spin to the side bottom. Same thing if I apply force to the right side, no matter how strong. See, even with great force, the power, why doesn't it go out? Because my serve spins forward and to the right. It's not easy for the ball to bounce out. It's also not easy for it to jump forward. That's why when we use the hook serve, especially hook topspin, if it goes long, your opponent can initiate a strong loop. You lose the advantage. So how do we serve short to the right side? After aiming to the right, you apply force toward the front right and bottom right. This way, you can basically control a short hook serve with no spin. Watch closely. It's very clear. My entire force direction is downward to the right. Just watch the hand motion. The whole force is directed down and right. Right? Then we shift our body weight toward the front right as well. You see, my direction is very clear. It's hard for the ball to go long. Hook right spin motion. Now, if we want to hook backspin, we just reverse it, keeping the same framework. The difference is that for topspin, the paddle is more of a backspin at the moment of contact. We brush the lower middle part of the ball. That means we flatten the blade slightly. Just adjust it a bit. Now, the most important point is this. Your hand must always be higher than the ball. See, whether it's topspin or backspin, especially topspin, start with the paddle low. Don't try to lift the ball to make it arc a lot. Trying to lift a backspin ball this way is useless. It'll likely go too long. So even with topspin serves, you must hit down into the ball. Apply force toward the right side. Don't create a backspin effect, just topspin is enough. So what's the benefit of this method? See, I apply downward force for both topspin and backspin serves. That gives the opponent real pressure, a deceptive effect, and an element of surprise. This is what we're talking about. Every detail must be executed well. Don't separate match and practice. Integrate match and training. Look, this is side topspin, right? And this is side backspin, because often we already have a foundation built previously. We laid the groundwork before advancing. Then, we can fully use what we accumulated earlier. Those skills. For example, the last lesson we talked about, the side spin long ball. Actually, using the hook serve is similar. First, we just adjust our grip and racket angle to the hook serve style. Then the power direction and focus are the same. For example, if I do a long serve, I use the same body weight transfer, same sudden acceleration from my right leg. It's the same as the side spin technique. So what's the difference? With the hook serve, it's easier to do something that side spin serves can't, like lifting the ball. Hook serve is a bit like forehand quick loop, a flick of the wrist. With a wrist snap, I can serve deep to the end line with more arc. That's a unique advantage of the hook serve, but its weakness is, if I stand opposite and he serves hook and sneaks it over like this, it spins toward my right side. Not easy to go to my wide forehand, but it has the advantage of a forward arc. So we must add one more thing. That side spin has, but hook doesn't. Side spin can go wide to the corner, very sudden. So for hook serve, without the wide corner advantage, make the ball slightly more arcing, slightly more sudden. And same with the first bounce. The first bounce is, look where it lands. First bounce. The key before the first bounce is different from the side spin. I just taught him what side spin is. It's downward, right? You apply force down. So what about the long no spin hook serve? We can brush it a bit forward and upward. At this point, what should we do? We still apply a bit downward force. Most importantly, shift the center of gravity downward. What is side spin? After moving the hand down, my center of gravity can go forward. The hand moves forward and downward. Then the center of gravity presses down, to ensure that when I hook it, the first bounce lands on my own end line. Then it can reach the opponent's end line. That's the key difference. Right? So I press my weight downward. You can clearly see my chest area. Yes, at the moment of releasing the ball, it rushes toward the ground, aiming at the ground. That's when the power fully releases. That's one detail of the long hook serve. Now, for the long hook backspin serve, we can purely smash it more downward. But I don't really recommend that. Why? Because if you do a long hook backspin serve, unless you break the rules and use excessive force, if you toss normally, it's hard to reach the end line and to create a fast backspin. If we still want to achieve that, we can use the same idea as a side underspin. Just chop downward from above. Make sure the first bounce lands solidly. Like this, feeling the hand motion chops downward. Raise it a bit higher. Yes, kind of like that. It resembles a squat-style downward chop serve. Now I back the body weight and watch carefully. Clearly heading under the table. To serve long, the most important thing is to use your body weight to send the ball forward and downward. Why? Because with the hook serve, you can't really use the wrist. You must rely on your body weight to extend the arc, especially for this long hook backspin serve. One unavoidable problem, its speed can't really be fast. But if you serve it long enough, with enough spin, your opponent will still be cautious. They might pause and aim carefully, or play it conservatively and push it back. This is the best effect you can achieve, a surprise element.
Read more about table tennis on my blog, PingSunday.com. Get free ebook and coaching advices. See you in the next video.